Hi, my name is Noemi Perez, and this is my project Bilingualism in Vieques, and it is for the class English 32, 36. Vieques is a beautiful island from our island, Puerto Rico, and it is one of the most beautiful places I've ever been, and it is an excellent place to be at vacations. And I really recommend it because it's a new experience and a good one too. So I hope that with this project, people can love Vieques like I love Vieques. Now I want to talk about a little bit of history about Vieques Foundation and why it is called Vieques, and obviously, well, nowadays, how is Vieques nowadays? Vieques Foundation. Well, the first people that lived at Vieques were the native Indians, in which they arrived at the island, getting away from the Spain colonization that was currently going on in the island. So, in order to get away of that colonization, the native Indians traveled by water until obviously arriving at the island of Vieques, where they lived peacefully until the Spain people like discover the island and arrive at the island and try to kick out the native Indians out of it and start their colonization at Vieques too. But the native Indians were that easy prey, so they fought sometimes until death for well their liberty and well their freedom is the right word. Spain failing to well control the native Indians in Vieques, they technically like stopped until the French came and they took power of the Vieques island in 1647, but it wasn't like a lot of time with power until Spain came and got the French people out. Well, we can say that in 1718 people came back from all around the world to destroy the 14th that is at Vieques that the Spain people like built up, and they kill a lot of people and they killed a lot of crops and food that they were well growing. But Vieques continued to be invaded by French, Dutch, and more cultural from around the world until they had their first mayor in 1931, Teófilo Jaime José María Leguillou. He was French descendant and he was mayor until he died in 1843. He was mayor for 12 years. With his death, like in January 1st of 1844, the first Catholic church was thought to be made at Vieques Island. So on January 10th of 1844, a festival was held in order to call Vieques population as El Pueblo Santiago de la Isla Española de Vieques. By February, Puerto Rico's governor sent to Vieques the colonel commander of engineers in order to determine where in the island the people could live. That the people couldn't decide where to live, no, they had to have some people came and decide for them. Okay. Later, the people of Vieques received the name of Isabel II in honor of the Queen of Spain, that now a name that is still the name that is in Vieques. Then, curious fact about the queen. Well, the Queen Isabel knew about the name they put on Vieques and was so happy that she made a sculpture and she sent it to Vieques and they put it on that church built in 1844 until they destroyed it to build up a new one because it was an old building. So, with the impulse that the slave brought by the Spain people at Vieques, that had a great development in the sugarcane industry and promoted a lot of jobs in the island. It had great development until the decade of the 40s, 1940, in which the USA, well, the USA now, the US Navy arrived at the island and they caused a lot of ruckus because the sugarcane industry like failed and the fishing and the agriculture was shut down technically and almost completely because they were making a lot of bomb testing at the island and that was a very dangerous thing for agriculture because well it will affect the food. I mean if you eat that food well it will danger your body. So in order to stop this bombing testing of the US Navy Army, well the Kansas fought a lot and because they knew that this like it is shown it in this map it wasn't very healthy and it wasn't fair that the US Navy was gaining a lot of control of the island, such a beautiful island, and for bombing testing it wasn't fair at all. So the Kansas and Puerto Ricans fought and they like conquer the island and well because of them fighting for that well Vieques Island now is free of US Navy armies. There's still a lot of bombs in the island and a lot of contamination, or at least that is what they say. But no more bombing and no more testing it, and that's a good thing. Why is Vieques called Vieques? But the native Indians call it Vieque with B and without the S. And Vieques means tierra pequeña, in English small land. Then it is obviously that Vieques is a small island. And well, until the first decade of last century, it was written officially as Vieques. So they just put on an S and it was official like that until the first mayor of Vieques, Teófilo, started writing Vieques with UV in the official papers that it became like we call it nowadays. Vieques with V and S, and that's it. That's why it is called Vieques. Well, nowadays, Vieques nowadays is definitely one of the most beautiful places in all of Puerto Rico, like I mentioned at first, and it is obviously one of my favorite places in the whole world. And even when history have changed a lot of things in Vieques, there is a lot to work with because of the education, its history, resources, and opportunities that the Vieques people and the Vieques community is exposed to. It's obviously that is difficult because they live in an island from this island and they don't have the same resources like I explained. And because of those things, I decided to work on this project named Bilingualism in Vieques. Being such a beautiful island, there are a lot of tourists and a lot of people from around the world living and visiting the island. There's a cultural clash between the people who only speak English and the people who have been all their life in Vieques. who only speak Spanish. I can say that this work is focused on an investigation based on an interview of 10 people who currently lives in Vieques. So, the purpose of my investigation was to see how a second language can affect your work and your daily life, and how important was to people to know a second language. All the people involved in the interview were asked for permission in order to participate. It was totally anonymous and confidential. I am hoping that this work can help a lot of people there in the island, and I am more than willing to help them because I love that island. I really do, and I want to work over there with the community. Let's continue. These are the interview questions, like from the 10 people that participated. Well, it started with gender. Obviously, we have the first person, it was a female, and she is a janitor. She has 51 or more of age. She currently works, obviously. Her work was based on cleaning. And so she works, and she has been living in Vieques her whole life, 57 years in Vieques. But she says that it is difficult to not know the English language because at work it is a necessity to know because they are exposed to a lot of people who speak only English because of the tourists and the North American people who literally live at the island. They have houses and well, where she lives, their work is based on working with the communities. That there is where my mother works. Um, there are. She said that she has her daughters that need the English at the classes, and because of the people and all the stuff, so she only speaks Spanish. And she said that she can understand it, but she cannot write it, and she cannot speak it so well, nor write it. So, do you consider important to know a second language? She said yes, because it can help in the workplace when people ask something in English. Likewise, in other places, because there are a lot of United States people living there. She is in favor of establishing a language program in Vieques, and especially the English, because she wants to learn a lot the English. She wants to be fluent. And an experience she had, she has to tell, is that in the ferry that comes and go from the island, the people doesn't know English, and there is this tourist that comes and asks them something and they don't understand anything. So she said that people that works with directly with people like that have to know the English language at least. I cannot talk about all the people I have here because, well, time is running out. But I will talk about two more people that they changed my way of thinking. It's this guy. He has been living 37 years in Vieques, and his first language is English. He was a teacher. he currently is he's up to 14 working. He's the director over there. Um, well, he has been working 25 years over there, and obviously he speaks perfectly the Spanish and perfectly the English. But he said that the English language was imposed to the people living there. He said that if it wasn't so imposed on the people, that the community will be more open to learning the language and to practice it. But I don't know what he meant by that. But it was very surprising for me because he is from the United States, and he said that, and he loves Puerto Rico and he loves Vieques. But he said that if people who has to be speak English, that he said that, well, people who only speak English can also learn how to speak in Spanish. But yeah, I think I can understand him when he says it is imposed, because they don't even explain to us when we begin at school with English that it is because English or whichever language is very important to learn, or why. It is just because, yes, because English is like another class. They don't make us see it like literally a beautiful thing to learn another language. So I think I understand him in that line. So the other person I'm going to talk about is from a flower shop owner in Vieques. Her first language is obviously English. Not obviously, but yeah. She's within the age of 31 years to 40 years, and she doesn't speak Spanish at all because she says she is being laughed off. She said Puerto Ricans tend to laugh when other people doesn't speak their language correctly. So she feels judged and she feels awful about it, and she wanted to learn Spanish and even other languages. And she said she was so shocked that she couldn't or she doesn't want right now to learn Spanish. She just speaks English, and because a lot of people in Vieques speak English, so she doesn't have to interact a lot with the people who doesn't speak English, because she feels judged by the Puerto Rican people because she doesn't speak Spanish very well. And she was very prepared because she gave classes in Spanish over New York. But here, in the 3 years she have been living in Vieques, she said that people judge more than the people she speak in Spanish over there in New York. So she understand and speak Spanish. She doesn't want to anymore. And well, that's very, very impacting for me. Like a lot of people, like, yeah, we tend to prejudice, prejudice and judge people who doesn't speak well, and they say that Puerto Ricans also judge the people who doesn't speak English well, even if they try, and that's why maybe we're a little shy about that. I interview another Vieques person, right? She works at the Hotel W. She has been living 25 years in Vieques. She only speaks Spanish, nothing else English. And she said that English is very important because there's not a way to communicate with the people who doesn't speak your own language. And she works at the W Hotel in Vieques, the most important hotel in the whole island. Very fancy and very beautiful, by the way. So they ask for people who speak English too, or at least English and Spanish. It's if fluent is better. Well, she is in favor of giving classes of languages in Vieques Island. So my time is running out, but I want to say that each and every person that I interview is in favor of putting a program in Vieques of teaching languages. I mean, who doesn't want to learn a second language and be able to communicate with a lot of people? Those people are very, very, very controlled because they don't know a second language. But I mean, I understand when they say that Puerto Rico we judge a lot the people when they speak another language that isn't theirs. So yeah, we tend to get very shy when speaking because we don't want to make mistakes. But yeah, we need to make mistakes in order to communicate with other people. There is this other lady that I interviewed. She has been living 47 years in Vieques, and she said that knowing a language, a second language, is beautiful. And she doesn't write anything in English, and she only understands it. And she said to me that it's beautiful to know a second language because we can expand our culture. We can know a lot of people, and we can learn a lot. And she loved that, and she wants to learn it. Some people say that they are old to learn a new language or something like that, and that isn't true at all. If you want to learn something, you can learn it any day you want. So I could make this work for hours and hours and talking over here because I love this, and I love this project and this theme, and I can conclude that I will try to work a program in Vieques in which I could give English classes and Spanish classes even. And when I get more fluent in French, even French classes, I can help people to write better or to even learn how to write because there are poor people in Vieques that doesn't know how to write. And I think I'm very motivated with this, and I'm grateful that I made this project about Vieques and bilingualism because well, I am studying French right now, and I love languages and new cultures. So right now, I would love to make this a lot longer, but I can't. So I hope to make a second part if even, and I hope that you visit Vieques because it's a beautiful island. And well, if I do a second presentation, I will let you know a lot more about this project. So thank you for your time.